Hi, I'm coming to you this time from my little driver's den downstairs. I've got a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I'm playing with some new software that's hopefully going to make the production, the editing of these segments a little more streamlined, maybe a little easier, and hopefully look a little better. That's all tied in with my new computer build over here. I got some fancy blue lights here you can look at, which are probably prettier to look at than my face. But the more important thing is, it's really hot outside today. It's up in the mid-90s. As much as I love my subscribers, love my viewers, I'm not ready to sweat for you people. Nothing personal. My blood from the upper right-hand corner of Ohio isn't really ready for southeast heat and humidity, even though I've lived here pretty much my whole life. But all that aside, let's move on to why we're here. I want to talk about sort of the 3 deadly sins that a passenger can commit. These are the things that will get you left behind. I mean, if you've ever had a fantasy of watching that rideshare driver pull off without you, I'm here to help you make that reality. But let's not look at it in a negative way. Let's kind of look at what you can do to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Now, I said the 3 deadly sins, and it's actually 3.5. And we're going to get to the half one first, but I want to kind of segue into that by talking about COVID-19. Uber and Lyft have relaxed their policies on mask wearing now that we've really come out of the height of the pandemic. Used to be riders and drivers were both required to wear masks, and that could get you left behind. If you refused to wear a mask, a driver had the discretion to cancel the ride. And I just got a notification from Alexa. We'll check that later. But anyway, the driver could leave you behind if they wanted to. They could, however, report you for not wearing a mask. And Uber would require you after that, the next time you called for a ride, to take a picture of yourself with a mask on to prove you had one. The drivers had a similar kind of policy. When we would get on the road in the morning, we had to take a picture of ourselves with a mask on. That policy was later relaxed, and you basically just had to check in saying you're following your precautions. So let's get into that half rule first. Many drivers will insist you wear a seatbelt. They can't force you to wear a seatbelt, but Uber currently has something similar to the mask requirement. They can report you for not wearing a seatbelt. Now that is closely tied to the first 2 of these 3 deadly sins. Let's get to the first one. Right here on your screen. Have a car seat for infants and toddlers. If you don't have a car seat for your very small children, your driver is perfectly allowed to cancel the ride and leave you behind. This is a safety thing. It also deals with state laws. A lot of states, it's going to be different in every state, but a lot of states have laws regarding the age of the children and whether they have to be in a proper car seat or just a restraint designed for a child. This is a problem a lot of drivers will have. They'll come up on the curb and they'll have parents there who have kids. No car seat. You have to tell that parent you need a car seat for that child. That is a very, very strong rule. If we get pulled over, we're the ones who get the ticket for that, not the person with the child. So do not call for a ride if you don't have a car seat for your child. Besides the legal thing, it's just plain a safety issue. Any parent who cares about their child's safety should have one of those. I'm going to get a little preachy on that. Now let's move on to that second rule. No more passengers than seat belts. This is one that has come into play with me a couple of times. I'll pull up, there are 5 people on the sidewalk. I have 4 available seat belts in my car. 1 in the front seat, 3 in the back seat. And you'd be surprised at the size of people I can get into a Prius with 4 seat belts. I've had 4 very large people in my car before, and they fit. If you've got 5 people, don't call for an Uber X, which is generally going to be a car that is 3 in the back seat and 1 front seat passenger, much like my car is. If you have more people than that, you need to get an XL, which has more seats. It's typically an SUV, it's a minivan, it's something of that nature. It's designed to hold more people. Just like with our first rule, this hits on safety. This hits on legal things. My state has seatbelt laws. Many other states do. If I get pulled over and my passengers are not belted in, I'm the one who gets the ticket. So if you have more people than I have seatbelts and you try to cram them into my car, I'm assuming that risk. But at the same time, you're also asking me to break the law for you. Again, law, safety, just don't do it. I've got 4 seatbelts, give me 4 people. That's it. End of story. I'm rambling a little now, so let's move on to the third one. No unaccompanied minors. Yes, this happens. I have pulled up at a house where an obvious teenager got into the car alone. This is another one that parents, if you are at all interested in your child's safety, don't let them ride in a rideshare car alone. Most of the drivers out there are good people. They're going to be in good hands. We have to go through background checks. I got another segment about that coming up. But don't let your teenagers ride alone. A driver who's doing the right thing, if they suspect that the passenger is under 18, they will try to confirm that with the passenger. I have had a couple of passengers to openly admit they're under 18, and I've said, sorry, can't take it. You got to get out. Some of them will lie and tell you they are 18. It does happen. Most teens, I think, are good people. They're not going to lie, but it happens. And in that case, you've probably got a little bit of an out on liability for the driver because the passenger misrepresented their legal status to the driver. One thing that happens a lot, parents will call for a rideshare car to pick up their kid from school if they get sick and have to get home and the parent can't get there. I understand sometimes you're in a difficult situation, you can't get there to get your kid, but rideshare is not the way to go. You got to find a friend, a family member, someone who can go get them. As rideshare drivers, we cannot take them. It's gotten to the point where some rideshare drivers, if they see their pickup is out of school, they'll just cancel it right away. They will not take the ride. A little awkward because we can't see where our pickup is until we accept the ride, but some drivers won't take it. Many times, particularly if it's like a middle school or an elementary school, there's actually a good chance that's a teacher or a staffer who needs a ride. Their car is in the shop, that kind of thing. So I'll text them in the app and I'll say, I can't take unaccompanied minors. Is this an adult passenger? Frequently they say, yes, it is. I'm a worker who just needs a ride. Wonderful. I don't want to leave them hanging. I generally do not cancel those rides when I see it's a school. So anyway, those are the big 3. Those are the 3 things that'll get you left at the curb. Don't be that person. Don't be that rider. Also, don't be that person who doesn't subscribe. Love my subscribers. More importantly, I love people who send me questions and comments. If you want to talk about these segments, you want to ask me a question about something from the point of view of a driver, subscribe, get in touch. Love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching.